Hello everyone. So today's topic is about the wastewater treatment. In the last lectures, I talked about the water treatment, which will be used for the drinking purposes. So today we will be talking about the treatment. So have you ever thought of the wastewater from your houses? Where does it go and where does it end up? So today we are going to talk about that. Let's proceed. The content that I am going to discuss today will be the objectives of wastewater treatment and then the unit operations involved in it, the unit processes, and some of the flow sheets. What are the objectives of wastewater treatment? As I already discussed in the previous lecture, the primary treatment, the wastewater that comes from any of the source may be residential, it may be from commercial, it may be from industrial. It has to be treated first. That is known as the primary treatment, wherein we go for the primary sedimentation, wherein the subclinical solids are removed or the coastal solids are removed with the help of screen. That is the primary treatment. After primary treatment, the fine suspended particles or the organic matter that is degradable and dissolved in water, in wastewater, that remains in there after primary treatment. So in order to remove that organic matter, or we can say the fine suspended particles, we need to go for secondary and tertiary processes, which is the major objective of this wastewater treatment. Okay, to remove these suspended particles. So what do we do in wastewater treatment? This is the major objective that we're talking about. It converts this wastewater into some usable water. It can be either reused or it can be uh, returned back to the water cycle or disposed of to the water source. We cannot dispose it of uh, directly without any treatment because it may result in the water pollution. Okay, in order to uh, eradicate that, what we do is we go for the water treatment. We remove all such suspended particles and harmful matter that may be present in it, and then we go for the disposal of this water into the water source. Okay, moving on. Talking about the unit operations, when we go for wastewater treatment, this wastewater treatment is any operation or any process, or we can say it involves any number of processes or operations. Okay, the combination of operations and processes that reduce the objectionable matter that will be present in water. Like I said, the organic matter or any pathogenic bacteria or any suspended particles or any settlable particles, colloidal suspended solids that may be present in water. This is all the objectionable matter that may be present in it. So wastewater does that. Talking about this, it is a combination of physical, chemical, and biological processes. Okay, so unit operation are those methods of treatment in which there is the application of physical force, or we can say these physical forces are predominant there. Okay, so that is why it is known as unit operation. So any process that involves the usage of physical forces, that is known as unit operation. Okay. The main objective of this unit operation is that we get a better understanding of the processes that may be involved in this treatment. So we get a better understanding and the capability of these processes to conduct the treatment of water. That can be also understood with the help of these operations. Then we may be able to develop the mathematical and the physical models of the treatment, wherein we can design the whole water treatment plant because we will come up with the mathematical and physical methods of treatment. So this is how we can design the treatment plant. Plus, we can come up with the effective treatment procedure because we know what kind of process needs to be involved in it. So we can come up with a procedure also. The kind of wastewater we are having, the types of processes that may be used in order to remove the impurities of wastewater. This can be all calculated in this using these unit operations. So yes, this is something that is important. Coming to the various unit operations, we have I have mentioned all of them almost. So yes, in unit operations, first one is the screening part, which is again it involves the physical force, wherein we remove the coarser particles, the coarser solids from water by uh, in screening, what do we do is these coarser particles are removed off with the help of screens, wherein we go for the surface training of water. So as you can see, the forces are used to remove the coarser particles from water, coarser solids from water. Next is comminution. What do we do in comminution is we break or we grind the coarser solids into the finer ones, which are later on removed from wastewater. So comminution involves grinding, which again is a physical process. Then we have flow equalization. Here what do we do is we equalize the flow of wastewater, wherein we can equalize the dissolved oxygen that will be present in water, the dissolved oxygen and the suspended solids that are present in water, which can help in the removal of the organic matter or the sublimable solids. So we can say this flow equalization is also a physical process wherein we control the flow so as to equalize it. The next one is mixing. Mixing involves the addition of chemicals and gases and then mixing them with the wastewater. This is done in case of coagulation, this is done in case of flocculation in order to enhance the size of the very fine particles and then remove them off. So here also we involve the physical process wherein we mix these chemicals or gases with the water. The next one is flocculation. Flocculation is again the enhancing of very fine particles and then removing it off. So yes, we add the chemicals, we mix it, a slow mixing process, and the neutralized particles they attract each other and they are eventually removed off in the process of flocculation. Then we have sedimentation, wherein as I told you, after population, the particles from the larger rocks, and these are removed in the sedimentation tank. What happens is these blocks settle down at the bottom, the settlable solids settle down at the bottom of the sedimentation tank, and they are removed. Again, the suspended particles, so the settlable particles settle down. Okay. So here also physical forces are involved. Then we have flotation, wherein we have very fine suspended particles which remain over the surface, float over the surface of the water, and hence they are removed. So this is what happens in flotation process. In filtration, the remaining suspended particles, or we can say the remaining flocks, the remaining organic matter is removed in the process of filtration. And similar is the case with microscreening. Here, the algae is removed from water. So these are some of the unit operations. Coming to the unit processes, these are the methods that involve the chemical and biological activities. And with the help of these chemical or biological activities, we remove the impurities from water that are objectionable if they are present in water, in wastewater. So that's why they are known as unit processes. So what are these unit processes? Here are some of them. So unit processes are classified into chemical and biological processes. Talking about chemical processes, here we have, uh, you can name few of them. The first one is chemical precipitation. What is chemical precipitation? It is the removal of phosphorus and it is the enhancement in the sedimentation of suspended solid. So what happens in chemical precipitation, the phosphorus is removed from wastewater, and the suspended solids are also removed with the help of sedimentation. Okay, they get settled down in the primary sedimentation tank and they get removed off. This is what happens in chemical precipitation. Okay, then we have gas transfer. Here we add gases or we remove gases. It depends on what the process is. For example, if you are adding it, that means you are increasing the size of the suspended particles, or we can say the organic matter. Okay, so if you're removing it, then in that case, uh, some objections of gases will be present in water and you're removing that. So this is what gas transfer is all about. So you are adding over here gases, you're adding or removing. Okay, in chemical precipitation also you're adding some chemical or removing some chemical. Okay, then we have adsorption. What happens over here is we remove the organics that may be present in water. This is what adsorption is all about. Then we have disinfection, wherein we remove the disease-causing bacteria. We can say the pathogenic bacteria can be removed through the process of disinfection. We add some chemicals or disinfectants and they get removed. Disinfection involves chlorination also. So here we have dechlorination. We add chlorine as a disinfectant, and there also we have total combined chlorine residue. So that needs to be removed. Okay, that can be harmful. So it needs to be removed. That is known as dechlorination. Then we have some miscellaneous processes wherein there is the achievement of specific objective that may be in wastewater treatment. We might have some certain objective that we need to uh, fulfill. So in that case, we go for some miscellaneous processes also. So coming to the biological processes, I was talking about chemical ones. Talking about biological process, the first thing is the main objective of biological process is to remove the contaminants, and this can be removed by biological activity. So yes, this is what it is all about. And then see what do we do is with the help of this biological activity, we coagulate the settleable colloidal solids. We coagulate them, which means we form the large fragments of these settleable solids, and then they are removed off. Okay, and the second major objective is this biological process stabilizes the organic matter, which is the main thing in it. It stabilizes the organic matter. The other objective is to remove the nutrients that may be present in the form of nitrogen, it may be present in the form of phosphorus. Okay, so if we do not remove it, they are capable of stimulating the growth of the aquatic plants. Okay, that may be present in water. So yes, in order to remove that, we need to remove these impurities. Then we have classification of biological process wherein we have anaerobic and aerobic. It depends on the preliminary microorganisms that may be present in water. It depends on them whether they are aerobic or anaerobic in nature. So depending on that, they are classified as aerobic processes and anaerobic processes. In aerobic processes, everything that is done is in the presence of dissolved oxygen, and the microorganisms that work for the decomposition of organic matter, um, they also survive in this dissolved oxygen, and these are also known as obligate aerobes. Okay, so yes, this process includes the activated sludge process or trickling filters, or we can say aerobic stabilization. Everything involves aerobic decomposition, and all of these processes are aerobic processes. Okay, And these trickling filters activate research process is already discussed in the future slides and future lectures that I will be taking. The second one is the anaerobic process, wherein the dissolved oxygen is not involved. Or everything that is done is done in the absence of the molecular oxygen, and the decomposition of organic matter is done in the absence of oxygen. So this is what happens in anaerobic process. This was the classification of biological processes, which is under the unit processes. So we are done with the unit process part. Coming to the flow sheets that I'll be showing today. So yes, this is the flow sheet and the wastewater treatment processes that take place to clarify the wastewater for the suitable use. So yes, every home or business uses water and generates wastewater. Once the water is flushed out, it travels down and it travels down a very long way, a very long way through the pipes that are laid underground, okay, wherein the gravity plays its role to make it flow towards the wastewater treatment plant. Okay, so it travels miles to reach the wastewater treatment plant, and this is also called as the free service because we don't need any cost for driving this water, making this water flow towards the wastewater plant. It flows under the action of gravity. It's just that the water flows into the so for example this is the factory and the houses that are present over here. Okay, so the water is coming from commercial building, from residential building, from factories, and as you can see here are the underground pipes that are laid for the supply of this wastewater, okay, towards the wastewater treatment plant. So this is known as a sewerage system, and the water is flowing through this sewerage system under the action of gravity. So herein we have a lifting station wherein there is the presence of pump which pumps this water towards the water treatment plant. It lifts the water towards the water treatment plant. So in water treatment plant, the first thing that water goes through is wastewater goes through the process is known as screening, wherein the coarse particles or the coarse solids that are larger in size, they are removed off. So this grit, or we can say the screenings, are removed and they are disposed of. Okay. And then after steaming, this water goes through the primary sedimentation, wherein if the settlable particles, the settlable solvent settle down and the sludge is moved on to the wastewater sludge. This is moved on to the sludge processing. We process the sludge and we can use it as manure also. And then after this sedimentation process, this water is moved on to the aeration tank, wherein compressed air is applied to the water. Okay, so then it's mixed up properly and then moved on to the final settling time. Okay, so in this final here water equalization takes place. Okay, there's a uniform mixture of water. Then and here in aeration tank also, what happens is some of the organic matter is decomposed off because fresh compressed air is supplied to the water, and the microorganisms get that dissolved oxygen for that is used for the decomposition of organic matter. Microorganisms get that dissolved oxygen in this aeration tank. So yes, after this, this is moved on to the final settling tank, wherein again the settlable colloidal particles settle down at the bottom of the tank, and again the sludge is moved on to the treatment part, wherein it is treated and used off. And then after this final settling, we can either use this water, this recycled water, and it's of class B and C. This can be used for irrigation purposes only. It's unfit for for the use of for potable use, or we can say it's not filtered one, so it's used for agricultural purposes only. It has the restricted use. Okay, then Or else what we can do is we can treat it further to make it more suitable for other purposes. But what do we do is we go for the tertiary treatment. So this tertiary treatment involves the biological and the chemical treatment, wherein we treat it properly with the biological processes and chemical processes. And then here also we come up with the sludge, and again it is moved on to the treatment, and it's treated well, processed well. Okay, the water from tertiary treatment is further processed by the process of disinfection, wherein chlorine is added and it clarifies water further. So this recycled water can either be filtered again and can be used for indirect potable water, drinking water. It can be used for washing purposes. It can be used for not really drinking purposes. We need to go for further treatment also, or we can say we can go for boiling also. So yes, it can be used for that purpose. Without filtration, this can be used for industrial use. It can be used for domestic use, but not drinking. Not drinking. If you're not filtering it, so not drinking. Or it can be used for agricultural use. So yes, these are the various processes that are involved in the wastewater treatment. Moving on, there's one more flow chart. This is the same flow chart, flow diagram of the wastewater treatment. Okay, so thank you so much. This is all for today. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. In the next lecture, I will be discussing about the secondary and tertiary treatment, wherein I will be talking about the chemical and biological processes that are involved. Thank you so much. Have a good one.